Do you have to sit at your desk often? Maybe do you get a little pain in your back or your shoulders? Headaches, jaw pain, wrist pain, all of these things are side effects from sitting in an office chair or sitting for long periods of time without consciousness behind it. And what happens, I've been there, we've all been there, is you work and you start to kind of relax into the chair. And so this little series will actually help you to offset the effects of sitting for long periods of time and give yourself a little bit of a break. You can do this a few times during the day, during your lunch break. If you have a cubicle, no one will even see you doing the movement, so that's a great option for you. Let's start, and as usual, we'll start with a little bit of breathing because breath work is very helpful in terms of your overall energy during the day. So if you're starting to feel a little bit of a slump, how about you whip out this video, get some essential oils, take a few deep breaths, and do some stretches. So go ahead, as usual, close your eyes. You can bring your hips forward on the chair and physically pull your sit bones out from under you. Plant your feet at more of a 90-degree angle. Expand and round first into your upper back, and then inhale and rise, lifting your ribs toward the ceiling. Let your throat open and your jaw soften. Take a few rounds of deep breaths, inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose. Notice the track of your breath as it moves all the way through your body. 2 more. Last one. Now blink your eyes open. So the first stretch, and we will do all of these for this series in your chair. So first stretch, we'll take Seaweed Sway. So inhale, you'll stretch your hands forward. Curl your fingers toward your thumb and rest your thumb in your index mound, okay? Then from there, push the arms straight and move from the rib cage. So when we move, we tend to move through the arms first. Instead, try to really open up the side of your ribs. This area all right here gets really tight and sticky as we sit during the day because it compresses. So this stretch, this seaweed swaying, allows you to start to open. You can let your head move side to side and just move. You'll find this connects all the way into your belly. Lower your arms to get deeper toward the underarms in this stretch. Excellent. Then stretch your arms and bring them on top of your head. You'll take like steeple hands and rest them on the crown. Narrow your elbows, breathe into the upper back, then root your feet forward into the floor. Send your hips back and lift up. Inhale, lengthen. And as you do, you can kind of sway your ribs to start to find a back bend. From the side, you can see that my neck is remaining long, so don't drop into the bend. Let the neck stay long and then lift and open from the belly and the rootedness of the hips. Good. Now slide your hands behind your head and start to arc toward the right, digging from your feet so your groins stay hollow. Inhale to center, exhale, arc to the left. Digging from your feet, open and start to press your head into the hands so your belly can start to lengthen even more. Inhale to center. Stretch your hands forward and then wrap your right hand underneath your left, wrapping it up. This would be Phoenix or Eagle, if you know it that way. From the side, you can see the wrap of my elbows. Again, I breathe into the upper back, I dig the feet, send the hips back, resist the elbows down, and start to open. Stretching and swaying. This is a big opener for the shoulders, right between the shoulder blades also. Start to lengthen through the belly, root through the hips, soften the gaze, and bow. Nice. Inhale back to center, stretch your arms out, sway side to side, and then exhale, left arm under your right. Curling at the fingers, wrapping through the elbows, dig the feet forward. And when I say that, I mean push the feet down and into the floor as they push forward, as if you're kicking into something. Then you energetically drag back so you can actually find a tip through your hips. Then you resist your elbows down, breathe into the upper back, and start to open and lengthen through the belly and sway through the rib cage. Use your breath and notice if one side is tighter than the other. We often have imbalances in our shoulders in particular. Inhale to center, unwrap, sway through the arms side to side. Now, lift your right foot into the air and cross it over your left. Ankle over the knee. Now, instead of dropping your knee down, narrow it into your right hand. As you push your knee into your hand, you'll send your hips back, hold your shin, and drag the ribs forward as you rise. You'll feel a deep stretch through your outer right hip into your glute. And then you start to get longer and more full through the upper body. We root and rise all at the same time. Good. Then from here, bring your right hand to your outer right foot. Hold the foot, left hand behind your head. Narrow the elbows, fill through the upper back, and then start to arc up and over toward the right, and then bow your head toward your hips. So now you're stretching through your left side as you're stretching through your right hip. Inhale, back to center. Release the right foot, cross the left. Gotta do both sides. Narrow the knee into the hand and then widen the hip back. And you can help yourself by actually maneuvering the hip. Then hold through the shin, drag forward with the shin into your hands, and then rise up out of it. Be conscious that your traps aren't doing the lifting. We're trying to train the belly to open up and create space so the side ribs can open also. Breathe into the back. Don't lose connection with your breath. Then you bring your left hand to your left foot, right hand behind your head. Narrow and fill. Bow, head towards your hips. Arc toward the left. Bow, dig your right foot forward as you reach your head towards your hips. Keeping the neck long, keeping the integration throughout the entire body. This is such a good way to open up and take a break from the day. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, release. One more twisting stretch. Left hand to your outer right knee. This is a similar action, but you can actually work your knee wide into your hand so you can get your hips back more. Then, right hand behind your head. First, fill and round into the upper back. Then resist your knee into your hand and start to bow, reaching up and lengthening. Then arc over toward the left. Then bow again, head toward the hips, and your final option here is to start to move the rib cage a twist to the right. Open and stretch for 3, 2, 1. Inhale to center. Exhale, stretch your right hand to your outer left knee, left hand ecstasy. Bow, head towards your hips as you resist your knee into your hand, right? You're creating tension so you can create tone in your legs. Often during the day, our legs get really sleepy. So we bow and then we arc to the right, and then we bow the head toward the hips, and then finally you twist to the left, and then bow again. Right here, left psoas is getting a really juicy stretch. Inhale, bring it back to center. Exhale, sway the ribs side to side. Good, and then pause. That's a nice little exercise just to move a little bit at your desk. Remember, we want to keep the dig, the downward and forward motion of the forefoot while we have that energetic drag back so that the legs can actually work while you're sitting during the day. We want to keep the lift of the rib cage and a gentle curve in the lower back. And I would even advise you to pretend there is no back to your chair. When you sit on the edge of the chair and move your hips out of the way, you can work from a more empowered and lifted spot. That way, during the day, you're actually creating tone and muscular integration in your body instead of it just sitting, right, and you having to undo all of that at the end of the day. So, there you go.